definitely the most beautiful city in Europe, and it's populated by the most beautiful women in the world. At least it's the most beautiful city in Europe. The daylight does things. What can I tell you? Well, anyhow, I am so happy to be here, but I want you to know once and for all, I'm American. The only reason you can't tell, they wouldn't let me take my gun on the airplane. And I didn't feel bad about that until I just realized I missed a chance to pop a Rooski. And I'm old enough, I could have got the German too. I come from a country where a tiny baby is born. Anywhere in the country, it doesn't make any difference who the parents are, what the religion is, how much money they have. That baby is guaranteed that as soon as it's old enough to reach a counter, it can buy a gun. You may think we're silly about guns, but we come from the land of the free, dumb. You know, there are 92 countries in the world that are classified as Democratic Republicans, and in terms of actual freedom, America is third from the bottom. But we don't care. We have mastered one thing in America. It starts with our education system, which is just about last in the world. Because Americans have this belief that it doesn't matter what you know. It's what you pretend to know. Confidence gets you everything. But after a while, you get old. And I kind of felt sorry for Derek. Derek, you have no idea what old means. Let me explain it to you this way. 50 years ago, I had a tool that I could cut diamonds with. 40 years ago, I had one that would snap to attention when I popped my fingers. 30 years ago, it worked, but it took help. 20 years ago, I had to fold it over double. But I tell her it's going to be twice as much fun. Well, what can I tell you? The other night I was over here in a bar, and I found a beautiful Polish woman, and she smiled at me, and I smiled at her. Bought her a beer. We couldn't talk. She spoke Polish. I didn't. But through a combination of sign language and other gestures, I asked her how she'd like to go home with me. She looked at me, and she said, "Mia." And I said, "Dziękuję." You gotta understand, you reach a certain age, and if the police arrest you, it's gonna be for assault with a dead weapon. So I get to the point where I discover that my comedian hero is older than I am. And of course, I'm talking about that wonderful comedian, Bill Cosby. Now, you know, Bill Cosby had made a real fortune telling jokes without ever using a swear word. But I got to thinking, you know, for many years he's had a very interesting hobby. You may be aware of it. He rapes people. Now, he doesn't do it through physical means, he drugs them. But I got to thinking, that guy is older than I am. And he's raping people. How does he do it? He's got a picture in my mind. He gets this lovely woman. He drops the pills in her drink. She passes out. And about 4 hours later, she wakes up and he's got his things. Only way you can do it. And let me just end by saying, where can I buy one of those